So this is Shira, and this is the Gemini full moon outlook for December 18th, 2021. So to get started, we have the Gemini full moon at 27 degrees. And of course, exactly opposing the sun in Sagittarius at 27 degrees. Now, the one beauty about Sagittarius and Gemini is they are both mutable signs, which means that these are signs that are rather flexible and not fixed in their attitude. They kind of just go with the flow. So if you are a mutable sign and or you have many mutable signs in your birth chart, you are as such go with the flow. You're not one to be more of the leader, sometimes a follower, and very flexible in your outlook. So with that said, with Gemini and Sagittarius on this full moon, if there are any conflicts, then our thinking representing the general public with the moon will not be fixed or stayed, but will be rather flexible and changeable, like the wind, like a mutable sign. And what is representative also of Gemini and Sagittarius? But Gemini and Sagittarius have a wonderful sense of humor. So, even though this is a full moon, and full moons especially raise our emotions, our feelings, heighten them to a degree where we can become a little more edgy or frustrated, sometimes a little more aware of our surroundings, our psychic ability. So, if we find ourselves entrenched in drama right now, then Sagittarius and Gemini are great for humor. And Sagittarius, because it is ruled by Jupiter, is one who has a very forward-looking, positive outlook. And with the humor of both Gemini and Sagittarius, that provides a light touch to anything intense right now. So moving along, we have Mars conjoining the South Node in Sagittarius, and that is important because the South Node is a very sensitive point. And with Mars there in Sagittarius, this can represent where our sensitivities lie. So with Sagittarius, we may feel a little bit sensitive regarding what Sagittarius represents. Speech. We will have to be rather conservative about what we say because you've got Mars here early on in Sagittarius, you've got late Sag, Sun at 27 degrees, so there's a little bit of a Sagittarius emphasis going on here. So Sagittarius likes to speak its mind, direct, and the good side, especially with Mars, is very buoyant and enthusiastic, forward-looking. Sometimes Sagittarius don't think before they act or talk, but they are generally positive and happy-go-lucky. But with Mars, and this is the planet of action, on the South Node, and South Node, some can be saying that this is a point that is somewhat negative, and the North Node is more positive. So with Mars, with the south node, we will have to consider others' feelings when we talk and when we act. And Sagittarius is really enthusiastic. So with Mars sitting on that south node, we will have to pull back the reins a little bit on our enthusiasm. And with the south node, this will bring us down to earth a little bit about reality. If we go overboard in our buoyancy. So, moving along, we've got Mercury in Capricorn. Now that will apply in January, a conjunction with Pluto. But as of now, on the 18th, there are no connections with Pluto and Venus except by sign. So, nonetheless, Mercury in Capricorn, even if not by aspect, but by sign, we are going to take a regular conservative approach to business, to our lives in general. We will be more apt to be a little grim. Some would say with Mercury in Capricorn, we could be a bit negative. Thank goodness for this Sagittarius enthusiasm, because Mercury and Pluto with Venus in Capricorn will bring us very much down to earth. And Mercury, Pluto, and Venus are representative of serious, conservative, authoritative, ambitious, hardworking Capricorn. Now, with Pluto and beautiful, peace-loving Venus in Capricorn together, conjoining within 1 degree, we will have to lighten up as well on intensity, and that includes our affections, because this is what Venus is representative: affection, love, beauty. We may have a tendency this full moon to idealize or want to possess our loved one, or we may feel very strongly and intense about our emotions, and this could cause conflicts. So this is another area where we will have to just pull back on the reins of our affections and our love. Although it is very creative, because we are talking about Venus, and Venus appreciates all forms of beauty, balance, color, shape, and form. And with Pluto also in Capricorn, this is a wonderful, creative, and equally artistic time. This would be very accentuated wherever you have this Pluto-Venus conjunction right now in your chart. And publicly, all forms of artistry dealing with form will also be paramount right now. Now, we also have Saturn at 10 degrees Aquarius and still making a square to retrograde Uranus. So there's going to be discussions about justice and rights and connectivity within the public and within the masses. One thing, they want to connect with each other, because the depositor of Saturn and Aquarius is Uranus and Taurus. So we have this theme continued where we want to connect, we want to relate, but because of the square, this is providing separatist energy, and this is where some of the trouble can get started because of this Saturn, which is about authority and responsibility, in Aquarius, which is about what? Our humanity, technology, genius, friendliness, and so on. Then you've got the stubborn-minded Uranus in Taurus, and retrograde at that. So our attitudes right now are going to be rather fixated. We would be very intelligent to here as well to pull back on the reins of fixed attitudes and behaviors. Also, what does Uranus in Taurus rule? Taurus is connected with our Earth. So there could be continuing this theme of natural disasters and the unexpected connected with Uranus. Earthquakes, volcano eruptions, or anything else that could be rather unexpected and tense at this time, both with the public and with our Earth, and what connects with natural disasters. Now, we've got Jupiter at 20 degrees of Aquarius. So although Jupiter and Saturn are no longer conjunct, they still connect by sign. So that's good, because with Jupiter in Aquarius, we will have hope that there is going to be, for the future, much in the way of humanity, and that we will become rather idealistic and hope for the best. And really, Jupiter loves to be in Aquarius. It truly is a time of idealism and forward thinking. So we will adopt this type of attitude, and especially before Jupiter moves into Pisces. Now, speaking of which, we still have Neptune in Pisces, and that's at 20 degrees, and that will make a wide, very wide square to the moon in Gemini, and then of course the sun in Sagittarius. So it's a very wide T-square. Okay, and not for very long, and leading up to the full moon and then just after. So what does Neptune rule? Neptune is about that which clouds our thinking. We may be confused or uncertain about particular issues. Neptune also, because it is connected with the 12th house, is about secrets. So just before or around about or just after the Gemini full moon, there's this information that comes about now where we are informed about that which was hidden. And this may create tension, and there may be a concern regarding injustice. However, one beauty here is the trine from the moon in Gemini to Jupiter. So although there may be some tension within this mutable sign T-square, the Jupiter in Aquarius and moon in Gemini trine gives us a lot to communicate and to discuss. So it looks like there is going to be much in the way of discussion about justice, right, wrong, our humanity, fairness, and so on. But both Gemini and Jupiter and Aquarius are communicators, and we can connect and communicate with each other on a very detached level, very logical, without involving any type of drama. And then, of course, Jupiter will be moving on to Pisces in 2022. Now, there is an out of sign square between very late Jupiter in Aquarius and the south node in Sagittarius and the north node in Gemini. So it's kind of a bit of a wide T-square here. And so Jupiter, anytime this planet makes squares, sometimes it can be rather negative, but generally with this T-square with the nodes, it indicates we will have to not go overboard with so much positivity, so much outspoken behavior. Maybe in the other extreme, we will have to be very sensitive to others, not mock them, or create so much humor that we are insensitive to others' needs, because we are talking the nodes here and a square to Jupiter. And Jupiter does everything grandiose. It's a big planet. It does and expresses everything in a big way. So we are coming back to the theme, as aforementioned, about tempering our speech and our actions. And if there's any difficulties with this full moon right now, that in fact may be one of them, is that we will have a tendency to think and act without thought, and thinking that there is much humor in our speech and actions, that, well, this could actually create some issues. So yes, again, do be cautious of what is said and not to step on someone's toes with odd or inappropriate humor or speech. So this full moon will be about what? That word again, idealism, with the Aquarius connection with Saturn and Uranus, and with the Sagittarius and Gemini full moon connection. Will be full of humor and positivity. But because of this connection with Gemini, Sagittarius, and also the T-square out of sign with the nodes, we will have to be very sensitive in our speech. So while there are idealism and objectives, we will have to be equally very compassionate. And for this full moon, while there is a conservative yet controlling or possessive attitude, possible issues with higher ups or intensity, that actually may be good, because we may be brought down to earth with all this Capricorn connection. To finalize, if we can keep our opinions in check and develop a more considerate attitude to other people and their sensitivities, then this Gemini full moon right now will be rather positive. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.